Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Now, Alberta has a competitive electricity system, one that should be maintained to enable the orderly retirement of coal-fired generation and a careful transition to gas-fired power and renewables, all without jeopardizing reliability or substantially increasing the cost of Albertans. Now, that is a tall order. I've heard many concerns about the impact the government's plan will have on electricity bills, and also whether the government thought through the implications before they acted. To the Premier, before today, have you or any of your ministers met with leaders from the balancing pool to discuss the potential impact of your policy changes before those changes were made?
Minister of the Environment.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the honourable member for the question. Of course, we undertook a very robust engagement process through last fall that led to the launch of our climate leadership plan, which of course included an economy-wide price on carbon, action on methane, action on energy efficiency, Mr. Speaker, and a phase-out of coal-fired electricity. Now, we engaged with experts across the economy and did some very deep dives on technical engagement, Mr. Speaker. That was in the hands of the climate leadership panel, which then reported to us in November, Mr. Speaker.
For supplemental.
I'll take that as a no, Mr. Speaker. So the Premier has said previously in this House that the change in law provision of power purchase agreements allow owners to return their unprofitable contracts. She's called them a failed legacy of the previous government. Mr. Speaker, that is simply untrue. PPAs have generated about $4 billion for Albertans since 2001, and we currently get a credit on our electricity bills. If the minister had engaged with the balancing pool and other experts, he would have known that. So what assurance do Albertans have that the government has done their homework before making such major decisions?
Thank you, honourable member. Minister of the Energy.
Thank you for the question, Mr. Speaker. Certainly, we're working currently with the balancing pool and looking at the overall issue and what some of our options are. So yes, we're engaging as much as this morning we had a meeting. So yes, we're working on that.
Supplemental.
Taking you nearly a year to sit down with the balancing pool to actually have that meeting, which is very troubling, Mr. Speaker. So given the risk of significant added cost to consumers, will the Premier engage the experts and request AESO, the balancing pool, the market surveillance administrator, and the coal phase-out negotiator to work together to prepare a detailed impact assessment, including the cost of new transmission lines, and release their findings before you move forward, so all Albertans know the cost and impact of your plan?
Minister of Energy.
Thank you for the question, Mr. Speaker. And to correct the honourable member, today was one of many meetings we have had. We've had previous meetings with the balancing pool, and that's exactly what we are doing right now. We were bringing all the players in to look at the whole picture and the whole issue holistically. So there will be more to report, but at the moment, we're working with all the different players.